Hey friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. How are you? This is video number 40, and it is Sunday, the 28th of February. Tomorrow is March 1st. So I think spring is on the horizon. I think spring is already sprung in Jacksonville. Yesterday it was in the low 80s, but it hasn't been humid, so it's really been beautiful. And my grandson is playing baseball. The opening day was last Saturday. So exciting times. Anyway, he'll be 8 in May, so they're really starting to get to where they can play the game. So it's been fun. I was going to video yesterday, all set up to video, and then things kind of went haywire. So I'm back today, and my next video would be in 2 weeks, and that's Saturday. I'm not going to be able to video. So I have in 2 weeks. It may be on a Sunday, it may be on a Monday, maybe on a Friday. I don't know. I'll try to get it done sometime in that weekend span. So I have a lot of stuff around me here, and it's like you have it all piled up, but it's like if you touch something, it's going to end up. My mom used to call that like Fibber McGee's closet. I guess that was an old radio show. And he used to open the closet door and everything would fall out because it was so packed in there. So I lived that life. And then I was trying to decide what to put on, what shirt to put on, because like, gosh, Whilst Iris Naps, what is her first name? Anyway, she was saying that her son asked her if every floss tuber wears pajamas, and I'm like, yeah, isn't that a requirement? Isn't that the setup here, the outfit of the day? But anyway, I was like, have I worn this shirt before? I thought, no, I don't think I've worn this shirt in a while. You know, when I was in school years ago, I was really concerned about what I wore that week. I tried not to repeat outfits until the following week. But if you really think about it, that's really vain, because how many times can you actually remember what somebody else wore? I used to worry about it with church too. I'd go and I'd think, okay, did I wear this last Sunday? But I don't notice that in other people, so why do I think people are going to notice it about me? No, it's vanity. Anyway, this is a video about cross stitching. No quilts today. My husband is really busy and I don't want him to have to sit and insert pictures and all that good stuff. So this is just going to be cross stitch, and hopefully in the next video or so, I'm going to show you quilts from what I call the toy room, which is one of the bedrooms. It has bunk beds in there, and there's a lot of quilts in there that are brighter colors. They're still very traditional. I have a theme of kind of Dick and Jane in there. For those of you who are old enough to remember the books that we started reading with, were Dick and Jane, and Puff, and Spot were the cat and dog. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going. Okay, first of all, I'm going to show you some pieces that I have finished in the past. Hopefully, I'll remember the names of them. I have some also that I have stitched but not FFO'd. So here we go. So the first one I want to show you, and some of them I have the patterns and some of them I don't. I try to go through and find the patterns, but I can't always find them. Since we're talking spring, this is Easter Parade by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. This was my first real stand-up that I did. I showed this on a previous video when I did a spring one. So some of these are repeats, but I know there's a lot of people who have just tuned in the last month or so, or 2 months, whatever. I'm still trying to get together the stuff for a 10,000 giveaway. I know there'll be a quilt. I'm not sure what else. Anyway, I don't make rash decisions. Can you tell? Anyway, Easter Parade, Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I probably used the called for. I did not see this on 123 Stitch, but you can go to Brenda Gervais' website, which is open again, She periodically will close it, like if she's busy designing or whatever, or holidays. But it is open again, and it is Country Stitches Online, all of that.com. So I saw this. It's called Easter Parade, because it's who doesn't need a bunny on a chick holding a tulip. The next one is Plum Street, and you'll recognize it. It's Hello Spring. It's the only one I've done. I would like to do all of the Hellos series, summer, spring, fall, etc., etc. Again, I don't know what fabric, or I know I used the called for threads, and I probably used either the called for fabric or something similar. Hello Spring. So I'll be putting that out here pretty soon, or right now. The next one I want to show you is one of the word plays, also by Brenda Gervais with Needle and Thread. And this is March, and since tomorrow is March 1st, this is appropriate. I have finished March and April. That's all. And I'm hoping to start doing one a month again. So I need to pick up with May, which is, I think, got a little bit of patriotic, so that'll be fun. This is part of the Little Wren series by Scattered Seed. And I signed up for the new one coming this year too. She does, you sign up at the beginning of the year, and then you get four pieces during the year, complete kits, and her packaging and everything and designing is wonderful. Scattered Seed. I think that was the first one in the Little Wren series from 2020. I haven't done any of the other ones yet. This one is Spring Fling. Whoops, upside down. This is Spring Fling. This is a Blackbird chart that is, I'm sure, out of print. Some of these they're bringing back, so I'd say wait and watch. This was Loose Feathers number 13, Spring Fling. I think it's cute. I don't know if I've mentioned it. I probably have. There is a Facebook group called Fans of Blackbird. And there is a Blackbird cross-stitch library. And you can actually check things out, stitch them quickly, and get them back. There are a lot of rules, not a lot of rules, but there are rules so that you, just don't get the chart and then never send it back to the library. So you have to be a member of the group. I think, there's just a lot of caveats. So, which understandably there should be, because these are like valuable charts. So if you're really dying to, not dying, but you know what I mean. If you're really anxious to try to stitch something like this, then I certainly would look into that. Facebook Fans of Blackbird. This is another one that I have stitched in the past. And this is also a Blackbird. This was Loose Feathers 14. I guess I was on a roll. I did 13 and 14. And this one is called Summer House. This one I actually did on a lighter. I'm not happy with the frame I picked out, but it is what it is. It is custom frame, so I'll leave it like this. This is on a blue linen, and originally I got all these Loose Feathers pieces kitted. So whatever it called for is what I used. Again, Summer House, Loose Feathers 14 by Blackbird. The next one I want to show you, springish. This is called Bluebird's Message. This is Loose Feathers 23. I do like this frame. And again, I had this done professionally. Bluebird's Message. Blackbird Designs, Loose Feathers number 23. Which, by the way, I think they're coming out again with Loose Feathers, but I don't know what it's going to be like. So I know Country Sampler has mentioned it, so that would be where I would contact if you want to know about. And they may not know more, but you should at least be able to get some information on Loose Feathers. The next one I want to show you is called Garden of Life. again by Blackbird. This one is Loose Feathers number 21, Garden of Life. And it says, friends, the flowers in the garden of life. They do a lot of houses with stars on the roof, however you want to say that. And I love that. So here's the piece. Again, Garden of Life by Blackbird. This is my own, stuck in a frame. I did order this frame custom from Hobby Lobby. It's a really nice frame, and I really would like to do more in this frame if they have other colors especially. I think it goes really nice. So at some point I need to lace this. That's I get a kick out of Kim Goldman, the Contented Stitcher, because she mentions things just stuck in a frame. I don't think she calls it that, stuck in a frame. I think she has a little bit nicer name for it. But which, while I'm speaking of other floss tubers, you need to check out Nikki's Noodle. She's in Australia. Great sense of humor. She's doing some wonderful samplers. I really enjoy her. Way to go, Nikki. Do more, do more, do more. Reese, we need, we're missing you and your beautiful Australian accent. Bumble Stitches. I'm not sure exactly where she is in the UK. I want to say Wales, but I don't think she's in Wales. I think she might be like northern area of England. I'm not sure. Anyway, who else? Bumble Stitches is really, she's quite a quilter too. So she's fun to check out. There was somebody else I was going to mention. Oh, I know. Susan Stanley. She only has one floss tube out. It's Standley. Susan Stanley. She does amazing quilting. If you know anything about the Dear Jane quilt, she has finished it, which is, people that finish that quilt need an award because that is like the queen of reproduction quilts. And she also is really into needlework, antique accessories, and she has a couple little floss tubes on that. So check her out, Susan Stanley, and maybe Susan Stanley Stitches or Susan Stanley Stitches in Time. I can't remember, but it's definitely Susan Stanley. I threw this in there because this technically isn't spring, but there's a lot of people that are starting to stitch this, and that is the Cross Stitch Nation, so I thought I would share mine. I framed this myself. I had this frame and I thought it fit perfectly. Kind of matches the girls' dresses. I belong to the Cross Stitch Nation. This is by Heartstring Samplery. Love that one. In my sewing room, I have a whole wall that I have Blackbird, but and I have quilts and I have other stuff, and then I have a wall of fabric, so there's not a lot of wall space. But I would like to intersperse some pieces on sewing, you know, like different ones. And I'll show you one that I actually started that's similar to that. I guess I better turn my phone on silent in case somebody tries to interrupt this. We don't want that. Okay, then I'm going to show you a few things that I have stitched but not FFO'd. My FFOing lately is pathetic. Somehow I sit down and I stitch and I don't feel like finishing. So sometime when I have a full day, I'm going to do this. But those full days are kind of hard to find anymore. I don't know why. How can you be this old and be this busy? It blows my mind. Anyway, this is part of the Garden Club series. And I originally was going to stitch this on all the different linens. And I have since decided I don't want to do that. So these first two that I did, and I did them on probably 32 with 2 strands. So I'm just going to make pillows out of these at some point, pin pillows. And this is like, you know, way more than I need. So I need to cut it down, but I don't want to do that until I've FFO'd it. This is on whatever it called for in the Garden Club series. This is by Blackbird. Garden Club, there's 9 of them. I know Nicole from Nicole's Needlework, she stitched hers on Lakeside Buttercream, and I think that's what I want to do because I like the look on the buttercream. The buttercream, obviously, butter has a little bit of a yellowy um, feel or color to it. This was number 2, and this one was actually is on Confederate Gray, 32 count. So, whoops, there we go. So I have 2 of them done, and I will make those into pin poles. This is another one. This is by Plum Street. I didn't get the pattern out, but this is Sampler House 1, and it's, to me, it's kind of the going into spring, you know, when you start clearing out the beds and the yard and everything is kind of dead, but you see little bits of green start to pop up. So, which is the kind of where we are in Florida. We've had some beautiful weather. What is the name? Agnes somebody. It's a Blackbird design. I thought I got out the chart, but obviously I did not. Y'all are hollering at me. I've done the big sampler on it. It's the strawberry sampler, I think is the name of it. This is the little extra piece that goes with it. So that'll be made into a pin pillow at some point. Oh, my nose itches. This one is by Not Forgotten Farm, to Spring. And actually, I think she has a fall one too. Maybe summer, I don't know. But I thought she's cute. I did change the color. It called for a DMC, and I instead used an over dye because I wanted the, you know, the variegation in the threads. To Spring, Not Forgotten Farm. I love her little bloomers. Oh, what a crack up. I pulled this just because I need to finish it. I don't know why I pulled this. This is another one that'll go on the, where I can find a space in the sewing room on sewing things. Samplers by Scarlet House. And I have that. I thought about doing it in a drum, but I think I'd rather just get a black frame and frame it. Okay, where do we go from here? Good question. So those are some of the things I finished and that I just wanted to share with you. I have things in baskets. I'm not sure which is where. So anyway, I had 2 finishes in the last 2 weeks since I saw you last. Since I did 39A and 39B. Oh, that was crazy. Time out here. Anyway, I finished this one by Plum Street, the Cereal Bowl collection. I think I mentioned there were 4, but there are actually 5 of these. So I've done, I think, 1, 2, and 4. I've done multiples. So this is lesson 2, ever faithful, ever kind, firm and generous be thy mind. So I finished, and she's walking her dog. Faithful friend of a dog. Finished that, and then I had a sampler finish. I finished Miss Manners. This is by GGR. Let me move my coffee. Coffee when you're filming a floss tube is probably kind of dangerous. It's me living on the edge. This is the pattern, Miss Manners by GGR. I was kind of surprised that it doesn't really resemble the picture at all, I think. To me, this looks like it's on more of a gray linen, looks more pinkish and reds. And I'm happy with it. It's not my very favorite, but I'll eventually have it framed. There's a lot of this gold color in there, which to me doesn't show up at all on the picture. So let me show you this in halves. There was no over 1 on this, which was nice. I love that basket right there. That's so pretty. This I did this on 36 count light exemplar by Lakeside, and I use the silk conversion from the attic. It's cute because she didn't even spell her name right. She left out the S in her name. I love the big pots of flowers. The Adam and Eve are a little, I don't know, they kind of look like they're aliens with long, skinny bodies. Anyway, Miss Manners is finished. It'll go in the queue waiting to be framed. Who knows when that'll be, when my ship arrives. We all wait for a ship. Okay, so then what have I picked up? Well, I just finished Miss Manners on Thursday. I think it was Thursday. I did stitch on a few other things during the last, I want to say during the month, but it was really the last 2 weeks. Last night I picked up Charlotte Clayton, stitched on it a little bit. I finished the basket next to the dog. Can you see that? I'd like to get a start on the over one even before I go on and finish some of the motifs. At least get a start on the over one. This is Charlotte Clayton, and this is by the Heritage Museum in Washington. Obviously, it's the antique showing on the picture. A lot of people have stitched this. It's beautiful. I'm using the called for NPIs. Silks. NPI, needle point, silk, NPS, NPI. I guess the I is incorporated. I don't know what the I is. Anyway, there's reds. The red to me is a little bit orangey. I still have to do Adam and Eve. I have quite a bit left to do on this, but I'm getting there. Okay, so then that is not what I want next. I put in a few stitches, and I mean very, very, very few, on Mary Argent. This was the Country Sampler Stitch Camp piece by Needlework Press that the retreat got canceled, so we were able, and I think everybody was able to buy this. I think they still have the kit. It's done on Weeks straw with that's all I have done. I just barely started it. So this is really kitted. And I'm doing it on 40 count, the Weeks straw with the Zweigart base, which is a great color, with the overdyed cottons that came in the kit. This one goes over here so that they all look the same. I don't know why that one's so long. It's weird. So I'm kind of anxious to get back to that. I just wanted to put a few stitches in it. I don't know why. Don't ask me the why of what I do. I'm trying to chip away at my whips. It bothers me to have as many whips as I do, and a lot of them I really want to finish. So I really had no business starting Mary Argent, but since I finished Miss Manners, I thought I had permission to start one, which doesn't make any sense, because if I want to get, I guess I want to get my older whips down to a manageable level. I've had this one kitted. Let's see, it came out in 2014. I've probably had it kitted almost, whoops, nothing like showing you the chart, people. This is Mercy Goodhart by Shakespeare's Peddler. I love this piece. And there's a gal in our stitching group, and I had seen some of her project, but we haven't met for so long because of COVID. And we're meeting again in 2 weeks, and so I'm anxious to see her progress, because one of our mutual friends said that it's nearing completion, and it's gorgeous. Mercy Goodhart, Shakespeare's Peddler, aka Kitten Stitcher. She has the chart. Barely a start. I won't even talk about it. And I'm using the called for NPIs on that too. And the fabric I'm using is 36 count vintage exemplar. I'm not sure that's right because it really feels like a 40, but you gotta trust where you got it, that they labeled it correctly. So those were the two things that I started. Well, that's a lie. Okay, now I'm going to show you. This probably really won't be a very long video because, just because I don't have that much to show you. I can show you a lot of stuff. The next thing I'm going to show you is some smaller pieces. I can get them out of the basket. I also, well, let me stay in my train of thought here. Some smaller pieces that I would like to get finished. These are all whips, except this one. Tell the truth, Carol. Tell the truth. Okay, this is Stacy Nash. It's called the Little Red Work Pin Keep. It has this on one side, and then you can put this on the back side of the pin keep. I'm going to do just this one, and it's for a gift exchange, which is supposed to be Christmas, and I just barely started it, on 35 count parchment by Weeks. And I'm using a Silken Colors red. So that is going to be a gift. So this is what I really need to focus on this week. And then I'll need to get that fully finished. I'm not sure. I may put it on a box and paint the box, or I may just do a pin pillow. Not really sure. So the other thing I lied about was I said I hadn't started anything else, and I did start this. The reason I started this, as if we have to have a reason. Laura, if you have to have a reason for everything you start, you're in trouble. Anyway, it's called Needle and Thread. It's by Brenda Gervais, with Thy Needle and Thread. I was going to go to a stitching day with some friends. I was in the midst of working on motifs in Miss Manners. And I thought, I will certainly get off on either the wrong thread or something if I go and stitch and socialize and try to work on a sampler. So instead, I decided I would work on something that was more fill-in. So I started this, barely. And this is 30, I really don't know if it's 36 or 40, but I think it's 36. Mellow by Picture This Plus. It does have a yellowy kind of feel to it. I have it kitted. I do have it with a few of the Valdanis, but I may want to get to those, switch them. This to me has a little bit of an autumn type feel, but I love this girl and her skirt. I'm pretty sure this was called for Mallow because, or Mellow. Is it Mellow or Mallow? Well, let's just see. Mellow, 36 count Mellow, M-E-L-L-O, like Jello, like mellow. Anyway, I love her big skirt, and on her hips she can put her thread in her pin cushion. I relate. I am also of generous hippage. Anyway, I will get back to that. It's another one that is just a fun one I'd like to, put on a sewing wall. So then in an effort to get back to smaller pieces that are whips, I pulled out in Topley by the Scarlet House. I had started this previously. and I just had the border in, part of the border I think I finished. This is on 40 count 18th century Blackbird by R&R. And I finished the border, the vine of the border, started putting in a little bit of the flowers, and then I'm working on a couple of the bands. This is not huge. This is 122 by 181. 40 count, it's going to be 6 by 9, something like that. So that'd be a sweet little sampler to kind of fill in on the wall. This is a huge piece of linen, and I'm not cutting it until, well, I've got the border, but I wasn't going to cut it until I had the border done, so I could cut it now. Cut it down and serge it. So that is a small that I decided I wanted to work on, so I worked on that a little bit. So I have worked on other stuff rather than just Miss Manners. So then the whip I have that I want to work on too, I showed you this last time, and this is Brenda Gervais Brick House Sampler. Let me see if I can find the picture. Yes, Brick House Sampler. So that's another small that's a whip. I mean, I say small, they're not huge samplers, okay? They're smaller. They're not itty bitty, but they're, so I'd like to work on that. This is another one. This does have quite a bit of over one, so I'll have to kind of pace myself on this one. This is Mary Lindley, 1829, also by the Scarlet House. And this one I picked up, I worked a teeny bit on the border, and then I started filling in a little bit of the flowers. So this is the end of the bottom, so I just need to come up and around, and that'll be the size of it. And I'm using the called for, whoops, this is not the right floss for this. This is Ann Topley. Okay, good thing I label them. I don't know what I did with the floss. It has to be around here somewhere. I think I'm using NPI. This is Brick House. Okay, let's get these organized, Carol. This is Brick House floss. Brick House. I might not have picked up the floss for the Mary Lindley, because I don't see it here. And it's NPIs. I think it's NPIs. Yes. No, spell Swaz. Oh, here it is. Look long enough, you'll find it. So this is the colors for this. So, and this I'm doing on 40 count, oops, goes like this, 40 count Meadow Rue. I had a piece of Meadow Rue by Lakeside. So, have that. Another small that I want to work on, and then another one, and I don't know what I'll do. I don't know if I'll just pick up one of these and work on it, except for the over one. Pick it up and work on it till it's finished. Not sure. So anyway, this is ES Spot Sampler. This is another small one. I really just about have half of it finished. So I need to get back to this because I love it. This was one that was my unicorn for a long time, and then I finally bought it from somebody. I've showed you this before. And this one does not have any specialty stitches other than the ES in the very middle. I don't know if you can see that. It's done with a four-sided stitch. I love to do the four-sided stitch. I think it goes really fast. You're just doing, you actually end up doing an X on the back. It's almost like a back stitch that you're doing as you go and form. Instead of doing an X in the middle of a space, you're actually kind of outlining it. So I want to get back to that one. Now, all those things being equal, I also want, as we get closer to Easter, I want to work on this one. And this may be something I just pick up for a weekend or something and work on. It's Peaceful Paradise. It's by Midsummer Night Designs. I got it from the attic. It's pretty big, 333 by 291. And calls for a whole lot of overdyes and a few DMCs. It's very colorful. And that's how much I have finished. So I'd like to be able, this is probably going to be a long-term sampler project, so I'm not looking for a finish. But in an effort to get some of my whips down to a manageable level. And I'm really, this is a newer whip. I'm really trying to go for some of my older whips and get those finished. Because I still love them. I love all of them. There's not a single one that I'm like, ugh, who wants to work on that? I really do. I think, oh, I have a few things here that I pulled because I thought this needs to be fun and done. This, a lot of people have pulled this. I want to say Laura is stitching it. The cereal starter. It's by Lottie Da, the Elizabeth Jones sampler. Somebody else is stitching this too. I'm not sure. I have the DMC pulled, but I don't have any linen pulled yet, but it calls for 36 count parchment, which I know I have some. I might do it on 40. Elizabeth Jones sampler by Lottie Da. As we get closer to this whole expo new releases thing that's going on, I'm sure there'll be things I want to get. I'm trying not to buy any more big samplers. Said the liar to the squirrel. This is another one, and this, I don't know if you've ever seen this one, but I absolutely love it. It's 100 and the stitch count is 180 by 375. It's called Elizabeth Milner, and it's by Kitten Stitcher, Shakespeare's Peddler. So it's kind of a long skinny. If you do it on 40 count, it would be 9 by 18, 19, 9 by 19. I have it kitted. I think I have, yeah, it's only calls for 5 different flosses. Four Glorianas and a Silken Colors. It's very muted tans, green palette. And it calls for 40 count navy bean, which I have. So that would be a fun thing to just pick up and start. Elizabeth Milner. I don't know if it has very much over 1 either. It might have 1. This alphabet might here be over 1. It has Algerian eyes. Stitch 1 strand of silk 2 over 2 on 40 count. Vowels have Algerian eyes. Large alphabet has Algerian eyes. Yeah, that's it. Algerian eyes and cross stitch. I have to start this one soon because I love this. It's just very subtle. I'm gonna look to see it one more time. Isn't that beautiful? That's just gorgeous. I'm sure somewhere you can find this. Elizabeth Milner, M-I-L-N-E-R, 1848 by Shakespeare's Peddler. Because I have this chair that just keeps getting more full and more full. While we're talking Kitten Stitcher, I pulled this out to show you. I don't hear very many people talk about this. This is humongous. Spanish Mystery Sampler by Shakespeare's Peddler. Also Kitten Stitcher. The stitch count is, are you ready? 500. That's right, 500 by 320. So on 40 count, it's going to be 25 by 16. So it's wide, but not as, 16 inches. That's no slouch. But anyway, it calls for 40 count vintage light exemplar, which is what I have it kitted with. And it's this, let's see if I can do this. It's kind of a range of different silks. Gloriana. There's these two beautiful red NPIs. I love this. I have always loved this. And I think occasionally Teresa has shown it on her video. Maybe not for a while. So you have those colors. I'm doing this because it didn't show very good on the way I had it held up before. So you have some tans and light blue, which kind of is a weird one to throw in there. But how beautiful is that? 500 stitches by 320. It's not for the faint of heart. So anyway, she released that in 2010, and it's gorgeous. Spanish. So it's not a hard one. I mean, you're just kind of going across and doing different bands. Usually when you think of a band sampler, though, you think of long and skinny. You don't think of wide and not skinny. Anyway, here's another one. If I don't start this soon, somebody needs to just hang me by my fingernails. This is Miss Lucy Calcott, 1825. If you watch Inspired Needle, there's Kathy and, oh, I can't remember her sister's name that's stitching this. I'm sorry. Anyway, she's going down this way, and she's getting to where she's getting really close to finish. This is a gorgeous sampler. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And this is all done with a Versoix that I have it all kitted with, the silk of Versoix, Soie d'Alger. And a piece of, it's either Weeks Parchment or Light Exemplar. Oh, that's not a good. Hello. It's more tan. Isn't that funny how linen just doesn't, the colors just don't ring true? That's just hilarious to me. Hilarious. Yeah, hilarious. So, my son came by yesterday. He was helping his dad move something. And I have cross stitch all the way down the hallway, across from the closet that's in the hallway. Now, Mr. Little Mr. Mechanical Engineer, he starts to go down the hallway and he said, Mom, these pictures are all crooked. I'm like, no, they're not. It's like, yeah. He said, the whole hallway pictures go like this. I said, well, that's because if I stand at the end of the hallway, it's a perspective thing, you know? It looks like they're straight. He's like, Mom, they're all crooked. I don't know if he's right, but I kind of think he might be. I'm not moving them all. They go from floor to ceiling. I'm not moving them all. So he's going along. He's trying to straighten them, and I'm like, give it up, Josh. Just give it up. When I was at my Thursday stitching group, one of the gals had just bought this. This is the Scarlet House, and it's called Cece Smith. And she said, I just bought this. I love this. It's not very big. She said it's only, on 40 count, it's 9 1/4 by 7 1/4. I said, I have that kitted from summer school in 2019. So she said, well, we could both stitch that together, which I thought would be fun. And I love this kind of a motif That pot with the flowers or these is just one of my favorites. Absolutely love it. It calls for overdyed cottons, which we got a kit in summer school. And that is the wonderful Tanya of Scarlet House, who does these fabulous, fabulous kits. And actually, when I was there, I started it. So it's not very big. And it's done on Picture This Plus Heartland. So my friend, as soon as she gets linen and all that good stuff, all the threads, we're going to stitch that together. How fun is that? She's the type of person that's kind of just come back to cross stitch after years, and she said, oh, this will be my first sal. I don't usually do sals, but it's kind of fun to do it. If you're actually with the person, you actually get to sit down and stitch with them. Okay, back to spring. That was like a segue of what I've been working on and samplers. Now we're back to spring. I kind of put some stuff in here because there are some people that are fabulous at doing seasonal. Blackbird, Plum Street. There's just tons of them. I don't want to sit and name them because I'm sure I would leave somebody out because there's just so many really wonderful designers out there. And so first of all, I want to show you, well, I'll show you this. See this? This is my bag of linen scraps, and it just keeps growing. There's everything in here from plastic canvas, 30 count, 32 count, 28 count, 40 count, 36 count, 46 count, you name it. And most of them, or a lot of them, are pieces that I just cut off, like maybe a sampler. There's some in here that are super tiny. But when it comes, super tiny. When it comes to linen, I just have a hard time throwing away a little piece of it. So I had this idea because I got the new Jelly Bean Jubilee from Brenda Gervais, and she's one of the ones that I think just does fabulous seasonal. Some of these are super tiny, like, okay, can you believe in one floss tube I've talked about stitch count of 500 by 380, and these are, some of them are 41 by 75, 49 by 31. It's just so cute. Some of these are just adorable. So here's my strategy. I'm going to take little pieces of these scraps of linen that I have, and I want to stitch a good portion. Let's see, what are there? 7 Easter theme. I don't know if I'll do all 7. But stitch these in different counts on scraps. So everything that it calls for is DMC. And I had a lot of the colors because if you'll remember last time I showed you some smocking that I used to do. Well, I did a lot of these kind of colors in smocking back when I used to put my floss on bobbins. So I need to redo these all and put them on thread drops. And I might be missing 1 or 2, but I had most of them. And do them on different counts. So, in other words, the one that's like this one, that's, you know, just a little Mr. Bunny, he might be way bigger than this. But in a bowl or a dough bowl or displayed in all different counts would be adorable. I think adorable. I don't even mind if it's 28 count and I have to do 2 strands because, hello, you're only doing 40 by 40 stitches. I mean, suck it up, Carol. Suck it up. Like this one, I just love this little Easter. This is only 136 by 50. So that would be adorable, really small, like on a 46 count. And then this one, that's 49 by 31, put that on a 28 count, and it just would think that just the comparison, I think would be so cute. Because most of what they call for is all 40 count. So, you know, if you do them on 40 count, some of them are like 3 by 2 by 3, 2.5. This one on 40 count is 1.5 by 2.5. That's this. So how fun to do it on bigger with different color linens. So you might use a grayer linen or a tan or more white. That's my thought. Call me crazy. But I have all these and a lot of these pieces. I mean, I'd have to do some math and figure out, you know, is this going to really fit on here? But I think it'd be fun. So in the meantime, I pulled the same friend that Patty, I'm calling you out, the same friend that had just bought the Cece and Me Scarlet House. She also has a good start on this one. This is Brenda Gervais. Peter and Peep. Peter and Peep. My sister did this one. And it calls for 22 count cream Ariosa. Ariosa. That sounds like a spell in Harry Potter. Ariosa. Just shoot me. At least with a cap gun. Did you ever have cap guns? Those were fun. Got the little roll. Of course, we played Cowboys and Indians, so I guess now that wouldn't be very good. Anyway, this is the 22 count Ariosa. My sister stitched on this. It actually, I think, tells you to, and I have the threads. I think it tells you to tea dye it after the fact. I'm not 100% sure. My friend has one whole section of the side flower done, and I think she's doing it on either 36 or 40. So I have to decide. I'm not opposed to using 2 strands or 3 strands, whatever it calls for, on the 22 count, because then you end up with a nice big pillow for your husband to sit on and squash behind his back. No, he's learned. He's learned. Bless his heart. Just his keep-picking little heart. Anyway, when I was going through my Brenda Gervais things, after I got that Jelly Bean surprise, Jelly Bean Jubilee little booklet, then I started going through my other Brenda Gervais things and came across some oldies but goodies. So some of these you will have to go to Country Stitches online. I don't, you know, you might be able to find them some other places, but I know a lot of them, she doesn't wholesale to distributors anymore, but you can still buy them on her site. And I know she's not shipping international anymore. All I can tell you is you can, if you buddy up with somebody, which is what I'm going to do for somebody that lives overseas. If you buddy up with somebody that you know here, and you know, you can PayPal them the money, they can order it and then ship it to you. As an individual, I can still ship overseas. It's just the people like Brenda Gervais or maybe Kitten Stitch, or maybe they don't, you know, maybe it's just too much. And if somebody's willing to pay the price for the charts and the shipping because they really want it, I mean, why wouldn't you buddy up with them? Doesn't hurt you. Okay. Acts of kindness, you know, help out our fellow stitchers around the world. Okay, back to what I was saying. This is called Springtime Social. This is an older pattern. I can tell just by her, the picture on her charts. A bunny riding a chicken. That's a chicken. Yeah. Rooster? I think it might be a rooster. Anyway, it's hard to tell in the picture. And that one's called Springtime Social. This one, she has 4 different ones of these every season. And it's basket full of springtime. My sister did, I think she did the autumn. Basket full of autumn. Cute. I don't know that I'll do all these, but, you know, I got them out to show you. Mrs. Bun E tail. Cute, cute, cute. You know, there's not a whole lot of stitching on that. The finishing would be the big deal. And the counting from this flower up to the ear. Cute. Mrs. Bun E tail. Lottie Da has some cute bunnies too that have stitching on them. This is cute. This one is called Good Deeds with all these tulips. This one obviously I have kitted. Good Deeds with Thy Needle and Thread. And some of these you might be able to find. This one, I love this one. I need to get on the stick on this one. This is called Easter Peep Parade, and it's done on this darker linen. I'm not sure what the linen is called. Chestnut by Weeks. There's other browns. You'd have to change the colors somewhat if you did it on a lighter linen, because the colors are more bold. This is what you call a mess. That's all the called for. Another one in this. I personally am not fond of all that ruching on here, but you know, it's cute. Welcome Spring. A lamb pulling a wagon full of Easter eggs with a bird, robin on top of them. That's just adorable. Somewhere in our house, I have a bunch of wooden eggs. I don't know where they are. I think they're in the garage in a box or something. And it would be fun to paint them, even to get the grandkids to paint some. And then, you know, just, you don't have to distress them, but sand them down a little bit and then put the wax or whatever to kind of darken them and put those in the basket with some, even just raffia or that filler stuff that they use in packages, not bubble wrap. You know, the little crunchy paper strips that they put in, and you can get different colors. It's sort of like Easter grass, but it's not as looking. You like that description? Anyway, I think that would be adorable. So I have those kitted. I have this one, another chart that's adorable, Blessed Be. So cute. There's many more. Holiday Hoopla, Easter, also by Brenda Gervais. And this one, Nest. She also has Bloom. I just love these. I would really like to do this. I think I had it kitted at one time and unkitted it. This is on Mellow, Jello, by Picture This Plus. Now this place, it calls it M-E-L-L-O-W. The other one was M-E-L-L-O. Anyway, that's just cute and springy. One more I'll show you, and then I'm done. Just about an hour. This I found, and I just think this is so cute. This isn't necessarily spring, although it's called the Springtime Sampler. Again, this is on her website, but on that horn book or the wooden paddle, whatever you want to call those. This is done on 28 count dirty linen. And it says it's 6.5 by 7 3/4. Now that's on 28 count. So it could be like 4 by 5 or something on a higher count. Anyway, I've shown you lots of options for what I might. Oh, I have two others here. Let me just show you these. This is Blackbird. This is Loose Feathers pattern number 26. This is called Beneath the Sunlit Sky. I have a friend that did this. It is just beautiful. It's really, really pretty. And then also this one, Loose Feathers number 7, Tulip Manor. again. Not a huge sampler, but really pretty. Originally, I got these all kitted. This is probably kitted with 28 count. Yep, 28 count goldfinch. So, you know, I'd have to do these on with 2 strands, which, you know, why not? I would want to do them in the original colors. I mean, linen. So anyway, those are some things I have laying around my house waiting to be stitched, as I'm sure we all do. So anyway, I hope you have a good week. I will be back sometime in 2 weeks or so. Don't necessarily look for me on a Saturday because it might be Sunday, it might be Monday. I told you that already. So I hope you all are well, and I hope you're enjoying at least a little bit of springtime weather. Like I said, it's nice and warm here. I was going to look at what the temperature is, but I can't find it on my watch. Okay, I'm just going to look. Warm and partly sunny the rest of the weekend is what the weather guy says, and it is currently 80 degrees in Jayville, Florida. So I need to get outside. So I will say goodbye. Love y'all, and I hope you have a great 2 weeks. See ya.